Big Z Reviews. Bad Trip is a new hilarious film on Netflix, and it is like really funny. I didn't go into it expecting too much, but it is hilarious.
We are the only black people in here.
You like to make a toast? What are you doing up there? Get down! I love you.
Come on, get up.
I'm gonna get a selfie with the gorilla. No.
Oh my God! He's a human being. Oh Lord, have mercy.
So I have watched the Eric Andre show back in the day, and I liked it. I didn't love it because it was so awkward. I had trouble watching it sometimes. And there are a few moments in this film that are so awkward, like you kind of cringe, like, oh. Like, there are a couple moments like that. But I think what I liked, like, even though in the show it's kind of like, it's like an interview show, along with some, like, sketches and pranks and stuff. And mostly, like, they had guests on, they had no idea what they were getting into. And it was just horrifying. But, you know, with this movie, with Bad Trip, I really like that pretty much all the pranks, they aren't on the people experiencing them. Like, I mean, they are, of course, but I mean, they're all, the people that are getting hurt or they're getting, like, embarrassed or they're having stuff happening to them, it's all the actors. And, and essentially, the real people are just witnessing the horrible shit. And I love that. I hate pranks where, like, they cause bad things or bad emotions to happen to the people that don't know what's going on. And this doesn't do that. And I think it's, like, maybe the best prank movie ever. Because, I mean, I think, like, my favorite other one is, you know, Bad Grandpa. You know, the movie from the Jackass people. That's the strongest connection between these two. But I think that even this one surpasses it because every single scene is a prank or is done in front of real people that have no idea what's going on. And I love that, you know, it feels like Borat, even though I enjoyed the Borats, it's kind of like, I think a lot of times they get some good reaction and they try to film a movie around it. And they have scenes between the actors that are actors, you know, so they know is planned. But, like, this is so tough for them to plan it. Like, you know, a lot of it they had to like hire people. Like, you know, the opening scene is like a plumber walking into their house and waking Eric Andre up, and he runs out and there's shenanigans. And even he crashes through another house. And there's, like, some, like, maid or something in the front that is freaked out. Like, everything is like that. Every step of the way the story is done in front of real people. And it kind of just shows how fake a lot of stuff is. But, you know, so many movies, when, like, big things happen, like the crowd doesn't react. And the crowd's always reacting. And I mean, you have to imagine that they had to film a lot of different versions of each scene to get the right reactions. But the reactions that are in this movie, they're so funny. I don't know how you can even get some of them, like how you could plan for that. Because there's stuff here that is just hilarious, and there's really no way you could plan it. Like, I don't want to spoil any of the stuff, but there's so many different reactions where the people do something weird or, like, unexpected, and it's hilarious. But there's no way they could have planned that. And, like, there's one with a golfer, what the golfer does, it's like, why would you do that? And there's stuff with Tiffany Haddish, like, essentially, it's like Eric Andre, he is, as Chris Carey, he's, like, kind of in a dead-end job, and, like, his old high school crush, Michaela Conlon, playing Maria Lee, is, like, comes into his life, and he wants to go after her and go to New York, where she's, like, an art dealer, and, like, he goes on a trip with Lowell Howery as Bud Malone, and who's his best friend. And essentially, Lowell Howery's older sister is Tiffany Haddish as Trina Malone. And it's funny, when they do the pranks, I think Tiffany Haddish is the one that's the most disguised. Like you have to imagine that everyone else, well, she's probably also like the most popular. If anyone was familiar with Bones, they would be like, "Why is the artist from Bones in this place?" Like, well, maybe she hasn't done much lately. I guess maybe she's now an art dealer. You know, I guess Eric Andre isn't that famous, so he could get away with not disguising himself. But like Lil Rel Howery, I feel like some people would know him. But I guess I don't know if he didn't disguise himself, but I think, like, I mean, he's not, his fame isn't huge. I guess, they probably had some, they just wouldn't use it. But, like, there was so many movies that, like, even there was, like, a car crash, like, a stunt scene, and they filmed it in front of random people. And I don't know how they would do it. But, I mean, they had an actual, like, car flip, and they had them get out of it. Like, I'm not sure how much if they filmed it twice and they had like the car flip was I don't know how they did it because they get real reactions from people and it's surprisingly like good like I don't know how they get some of the reactions. I mean there's even a daydream scene where Eric Andre is imagining like just stepping into a meeting with with Michaela Conlon and like banging her in front of everyone, and the people in it are not actors, so they're like reacting like they just like it actually happened, but it's so every single scene is a stunt, and it's amazing. I mean, it is there is like I said, I would recommend this movie to everyone, but there are some very dirty scenes involving a Chinese finger trap and involving an ape. They were probably like the dirtiest scenes. Like if I had to compare, like they're like in the Bad Grandpa, the scene with the testicle scene and the male strippers, and the shark scene. Like that's like there's other than that, there's not that much stuff that's as dirty, but like there's the dirty stuff is so dirty that I wouldn't recommend it to your mom or something like that. Like I wouldn't recommend it to my mom. I probably wouldn't recommend it to your mom. But I don't know. There's some funny moms out there. They may get it. I don't know if like maybe don't watch it with your parents. I guess I'd say like or don't watch it with your kids. Because it is pretty dirty at times. But I mean, it's the funniest movie I've seen in a while. It's really hilarious. I would highly recommend it. I'd probably give like a 9 out of 10. But thanks for watching. If you want to see any more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.